Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the new images and descriptions that are on the patch 6.2 promotional site for Final Fantasy XIV. This will be good because I actually didn't make a video on the last update, one that came about the same time or the day after the live letter actually took place, but we get to look at all that now, so let's get started because it's like 6:20 in the morning and I got a stream to get to soon enough. So most of the stuff we've already done videos on. This is the MSQ stuff, so we don't need to stop for that. Pandemonium Abyssos, this was actually added about a week ago, like I was saying, with a bunch of images. Originally, I think they had this image up here. They might have at the very minimum had that. But they've since added this wonderful image. We actually got a sneak peek at this image. It was in I think a Famitsu article. So we got to see what in-game Old Man La Habrea looked like before the trailer had even dropped. Then we get a look at this boss. So this one's pretty interesting. This looks to be, you know, one of the White Mask Asians, and I can't help but feel like they're experimenting, like it's a lot of La Habrea's either subjects or he's doing some sort of cloning thing or being experimented on and trying to be merged with monsters, much like we saw in with Hesperos in P4. And this one looks to be a mix of like a demon spider leg and this tentacle creature. In the trailer, we see the tentacle creature spit poison, the little tentacle coming out of a player even. So it's giving me flashbacks to Turn 7 for those of you who are around in A Realm Reborn, Melusine with the cursed voice, except now maybe it'll be cursed bad breath. It could be like a Malboro tentacle or something like that, or even just a baby Malboro sort of concept that they were working on way back when. And the other one, I'll be surprised if it's not spider-esque given the webbing in the back, the other side, but I'm assuming that's also going to sprout out of the player and have its own mechanic. The tree, we can see another Asian here kind of embedded in the center. It makes sense given that we actually see this tree in the trailer itself. Not even in the trailer, in the artwork itself. When you look at the upside down section with the crazed Asian on the bottom, this is what we thought was a tentacle creature. All that ended up being tree branches and whatnot, which was kind of evident, but even still. We see a few mechanics for it in the trailer, and we do see these different seedlings with the different faces. Some of them have, these wide teeth. Some of them are these striped pattern, and we assume those will also all be different mechanics as well. And then we have the gear. This is what everyone's been going nuts over, and the main reason why I should have made the video when this image first came out. We got to see a few of these in the live letter themselves. They like held them up on that little piece of paper that they always use it for. And honestly, it's an overall pretty good looking set. I'd say the only disappointment right here is maybe the bard bow. Maybe it'll look better in game than it does here, but definitely not looking too super fantastic. One big thing is that the fending gear and the maiming gear both seem to have this ring that's present behind the player. We thought that was for special effect in the live letter. It was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's going to be lame when we don't have that in game. And it looks like you will have it in game, but just for those two sets. We have other sets with like flames coming out of the shoulder or the headpiece, and then you've got the mask for the striking gear down at the bottom with some really good looking fist weapons, by the way. And even the daggers are looking pretty good here. Overall, it's a really good looking set, but it does scream World of Warcraft in some ways. You always know in World of Warcraft, if the shoulders are on fire or 3 times the size of everything else you're wearing, that's how you know it's World of Warcraft shoulders. Here, we've got a little bit of both, but mostly the effects coming out of some of the different shoulder pieces on the caster and on like the scouting gear and the aiming gear and whatnot. So it looks really dope though. I'm really glad they're kind of doing this hellish ultra flashy set. I just wonder how different the normal mode and the savage mode look. Normal mode and savage mode have largely been the same, other than the ability to dye the savage version, and I'm hoping that remains the case here. Obviously the weapons are savage only here, but still, I think it looks really, really good. Also, for the description, after a battle hard fought, order has been restored to Asfidelis. However, the inner circles of Pandemonium remain in the grip of a mysterious force, and the remaining warders are nowhere to be found. You and your allies steel yourselves to press forward, but what awaits in those unknown depths may shake even the most steadfast resolve. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That sounds fun to me. Island Sanctuary, they went into massive detail. Some of these screenshots have been available for a little while. This is showing people visiting islands, for example. Here are some of the creatures that they found around the island, digging the armadillo with the spike tail. We haven't seen one of those in a hot minute. The shack, the hut, some of the different buildings that you can have around, and then the specific UI menu, which we know you can change between multiple different modes for, crafting, gathering, tending to your pets, catching animals out in the wild, does all sorts of things here. And for the description, find sanctuary in an island paradise abundant with wildlife where crops may be sown and minions let to roam. What will you learn in nature's embrace, and what will you create from this newfound inspiration? Make ready to set sail, for your hideaway awaits. I have a feeling this comes from Charlian, or at least it's a gift from Charlian in some capacity, given that we know mammoths are largely the ones helping us run this island by ourselves. And if there's any place that's going to do that, it's going to be Charlian. So, Felcourt of Troya, we've had this, I believe I put this in the last video, yeah, because I remember making mention of the demon heads. The Secret Trial, which, based on the description, is totally not one of the 4 fiends. I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, we're all still weighing the possibility that it's not some, like, second fight against Scarmiglione. I know we're all weighing it. We see him in multiple locations. He talks about death not really being a factor for them over in the Void, which we've actually known, so that's not that much of a surprise. But, you know, who knows? Maybe this isn't Scarmiglione. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Maybe it's Cagnazzo. Maybe Golbez just shows up right from the get-go. Maybe it's the Shadow Dragon and that's Esdaya. Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. Variant Dungeon. They just added a couple pictures for this. By the way, the Variant Dungeons look awesome. I can't wait to see the other 2 because visually these both look very good. A request from a certain someone, Nanamo, in Ul'dah has you packing your adventuring gear and descending once more into the underground waterways of Sildee. I'm excited for that. And of course, the thing I'm really excited about is Criterion Dungeons and Criterion Savage. Whereas Variant Dungeons are casual story-based experiences which can be completed by solo players, Criterion Dungeons will challenge a party of 4 adventurers with battles of punishing difficulty. Criterion Dungeons are available in 2 difficulty levels and impose unique rules and restrictions, such as limiting character resurrections. Assemble a band of trustworthy comrades to overcome every obstacle and explore every corner of the subterranean. I hope we get to go down like every single path that you had a choice for this one. I know this is a set path, but I hope that it takes us throughout the different portions that we would have seen if we had done all the paths in the Variant Dungeon, because that would be really cool. We also know this is the first boss of this dungeon, and we could see one of the mechanics. It's got the water jars from Ivalice from the second tier from Lighthouse. So, oh boy, wait, Lighthouse? No, wait, is that Lighthouse? Who has the water jar? No, is that the first boss or the second boss? I think that's the second boss, actually, now that I think about it. I don't remember. I haven't done the Ivalice raids in a while, but you recognize the water pots, you know. Then we have, of course, Sephiroth, our new Unreal. I actually should really release a video going over his mechanics very briefly before Tuesday. I don't think it's going to help that much, but I think it'll help a little bit, because they are changing a few things, but as long as they make mention of the things we know are changing to be a little easier, then I think it should be a-okay. But definitely freshen up on this before going. Go in on Unsync with like a friend or 2 so you can see more of the mechanics and how they interact with multiple people, because you do not want to do this one without some sort of heads up, unless you're planning on doing it blind with a few friends or in a learning party or something. It's a fairly tough trial. And Taru's Grand Endeavor, I had said I think this is coming in patch 6.2, given the way the website is worded, and that is definitely appears to be the case. The sky's the limit when it comes to Taru's ambitions for her blossoming boutique. It is to the azure skies of Ishgard she and her faithful assistants now look. Who awaits you in the Highlands? Remember, you have to have the Shadows of Mok story done, that is the Heaven's Ward 24-man raid series, in order to do this step of Taru's Grand Endeavor. Big fan of the Sky Pirates. We didn't really get to explore much of them after we took care of some of the Void stuff with Diablos. So, glad to see them again, but I feel like I'm going to be wishing that we still did see them again, given what's going on in the main scenario at the time being. Somehow further, Hildebrand Adventures. No sooner has the inimitable, oh, I hate that word, Inspector Hildebrand managed his safe return to the source than he is abducted by a flying object best described as unidentified. Those are called poo-poos, by the way. They are from Final Fantasy VIII, so that's what they will probably be called here as well. You know what? If Hildebrand is not going to be able to handle himself around a name, it's going to be poo-poos, let me tell you. Whisked up and away into the stars, Hildebrand's next riveting case promises to be literally out of this world. I wonder if he's going to be solving a mystery for the Lobrets. Oh no. New weapon enhancement quests. Oh boy, that's an image, let me tell you. Patch 6.25 introduces a new series of weapon enhancements with the beginning of the Manderville Weaponry Saga, set to continue throughout 6.x. The events of the latest Hildebrand quest will drop you headfirst into the story surrounding these historically significant and astronomically magnificent armaments. So this almost sounds like, I think astronomically is indeed playing on the fact that Hildebrand is on the moon. So I'm wondering if we're making moon weapons. You know, the Loprits don't really have any experience with anything like this. Maybe they decided they needed some moon weapons. But also historically significant. See, here's the problem with these. All of these embellishments could literally just be Godbert just talking things up. Now, he's skilled. No doubt about that. We've seen what he could do to a vase back when we first met him in the Hildebrand story. We met him before that, but still, in the Hildebrand story quest, you know, we got to see what he could do. And we know what Geralt can do, but still, I'm curious. Omicron Tribal Quest, the recently established Last Dregs, which is from, by the way, in order to do the Omicrons, which are in 6.25, you'll definitely have to have done Sigmascape. So make sure, Sigmascape, wait, no, that's not it. Is it? Wait, no, Sigmascape is, what is it called? What is, I don't even remember, dude. You're gonna have to do the level 90 dungeon. I got so used to calling it Ligmascape, I actually forgot what it's called. Is it Stigma? I don't know what it is. Can't remember. Listen, it's 6:30 in the morning. Don't make me do this. The Ligmascape. You'll have to do the Ligmascape in order to do the Omicron quest here. Recently established Last Dregs may yet lack much one expects of a cafe, a recognizable logogram, little jars of creamer, patrons, you know, that's important. But Omicron N7000 and not Omicron Jamming Way persevere. These unlikely partners in coffee are determined to brew fresh hope into Ultima Thule brimeth over. It's a lot more, it's a much funnier description than I expected for the Omicrons at the end of the world. But you know what? Robots running a restaurant at the end of the universe, or in this case, a cafe, I guess they got to keep things a little bit lighthearted in that regard. We already went over this, main scenario revisions, adventure plate officially releasing, just getting rid of some of the jank that comes with it. Bear in mind, any portrait that you have that isn't saved to your adventure plate is going to be deleted in patch 6.2, so take pictures of them so you remember what they look like so you can redo them if you're someone who just has a bunch of them right now. New items, fashion accessories. Interesting thing here, it's not playing, but let me see if I can get it to play. Here we go. So they're, oh yeah, look, Umbrella Dance with your fashion accessories. So now they're starting to add new emotes and stuff to pair with the fashion accessories. Sorry, my eyes are dry as heck this morning. So I just thought I'd show that to you real quick. It's pretty nice. I'm not a big fan of like fashion accessories or whatnot, but the more features they add to them, the more people who use them, the more people who enjoy them. So ain't nothing wrong with that. You also, of course, have some new wings being thrown in here. So if you would like those, you know, go right ahead and grab them up. And then just a few sections here at the bottom. We have the Allegan Tombstone of Causality gear, which I believe we are getting our first look at. Overall, it looks pretty nice. It's much more refined than the Abyssos set, which has that hellish look. And that Gunbreaker, man, that Gunbreaker sword is so good. Look at the scythe, too. The scythe over on the left, it's so, what's the word? It's very rich looking, I suppose. Looks like someone who's rich would own it. The gun in the back looks really good. The samurai sword is all right. Ninja swords are, the Astro Globe's looking good, and the, I guess that's a white mage staff. Oh, I guess that could be a black. Yeah, it's a black mage staff over on the left. Looks pretty dope as well. I like it. It's very touched up and almost gentlemanly. I'm not saying it has anything to do with Hildebrand. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. It's very proper, if you would look for a better word for it. New crafting recipes, so now we can see the crafted gear in all of its glory. We have seen bits and pieces of these throughout the live letter, but we didn't see the entire sets. This is very, as we said during the live letter, Elden Ringy or Soulsy. We've gotten quite a few like Bloodborne, Souls, Elden Ringy sets in the past couple of years, and this one's looking good. Really like, by the way, you can see the Vieira hood with the ears actually poking out. I think that's how most people envision a lot of gear looking for Vieira, is the ears just kind of poking out through certain types of headpieces and hoods overall. I don't think anyone would hate the idea, even if it looks not always the greatest, just, you know, depending on the individual piece of gear. This one's a lot more, some of these are Elden Ringy, some of these are almost like high-class noble, in a sense. Like, everything pretty much except for the tank and dragoon sets or maiming sets look very high-class noble, like you'd see them at like an opera or like some sort of very highbrow party. And almost the sword there looks like, almost the ninja sword looks kind of piratey. I actually really like the ninja sword that you see in the front left. It's one of those designs that's just like the hilt is really detailed, but the sword itself is just, it's just a good shape. It's just satisfying to look at. And then we have, is that actually the ninja sword? I look like he was holding a second sword there in the back. Oh no, that's the samurai sword. The ninja sword is on the right, which also looks pretty good for the same reason. But the samurai sword, it was so short, I didn't think it was a samurai sword, but you can see the sheath that he's holding in his other hand. Damn, that actually looks good. Also, the dancer weapon on the left looks pretty good. The book, once again, looks lame as heck. Red mage weapon, I don't really care for it. And Dragoon weapon is weird, but it almost fits more. And I can't get a really good look at the... It looks to be the Dark Knight sword over on the other side. But another really good set. All three really good sets. In my opinion, just a few stinkers between the weapons here or there. These are 3 mounts from Island Sanctuary. These were already translated. I think it was like the Prince Alron, the Mandragora, and the King Tomato, I think it is. These are 3 of the 5 of the Mandragora brothers. They're from Final Fantasy XII, and we have seen them before quite a few times in Final Fantasy XIV. Those of you who do maps are very, very familiar. And these are 12,000 of the Island Sanctuary currencies each, if we're to go by the recent live letter. We have new minions, we have a flying squirrel, and we have a not flying squirrel. I guess that's it. That's what it is. Those are our 2 minions. It looks like that's it for the new stuff on the site for patch 6.2. Overall, some really cool looking stuff, some funny descriptions, and a reminder of just everything we're getting. Nice we're getting Tarus a little early. I wouldn't have minded if that had come later, but it's always nice to be able to get those stories and whatnot as soon as possible. Anyway, I got like 15 minutes to eat, and then I got to get ready for stream. So thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And be sure to tune into the channel tomorrow. I'll be going over the preliminary patch notes live on Twitch at 7 a.m. Pacific. And I will then be uploading said, I guess, looking over onto YouTube right after. So be sure to check that out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see all of you in the next video. And until then, have a good one. Take care.